Welcome into my daily talk show of going over all of the questions and comments from the community and helping you with your hut lineup decisions and just talk nonsense for about 15-20 minutes. If you guys are new here, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and I'll answer your questions in the next video in the comment section down below. And if I don't answer your question in this video and you have an issue with HUD and something that you really want to get some help on, be sure to come check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/nosleeves12. Link is down below. I go live at 2 p.m. Eastern time every single day, essentially. And I'll be happy to answer your question there live. All right, let's get into the prior video's questions and comments. And we'll start with Victor Johansson. Hey, Slaves, considering that Team of the Year has ended, do you think a good idea would be to start to stack up for the next batch of team building, keep up the great work? If you are playing the long game, if you are going to be around for the next few months and you're not just someone who gets the Team of the Year, spends all their coins and all their stuff, gets Team of the Year cards, then mails it in, which a lot of people do, yes, that would be the play. I think that we're going to get a new event today. This is Friday the 19th. I would assume that it's the All-Star event, which is super interesting because the All-Star event is February 1st to 3rd. Oh, that's the weekend. And 2 weeks would lead up into that. So I could definitely see it being the All-Star event. Or maybe there's a 1 week off event that's happening now. We'll see. That being said, this year with all of the changes to the All-Star event and how the skills competition works, I'm really excited to see how this event works. So what I would do, wait for the new event to come out and then see how it works. I'll release a full video that will break down everything you want to know and the cheapest way to get everything, like I always do. But yes, generally, this is kind of like the dark time where progression is stalled. They're not going to be, the cards that come out aren't going to be anywhere close to as good as the Team of the Year cards. And we're waiting for the next batch of team builders. So going to get your NHL players now for cheap because your forward thinking is definitely the play. James says, hey, Slaves, do you think that Seabrook is worth making to replace Jones and move down a coin? Love the vids. Keep it up. Yes. I've wrestled with this in my last No Money Spent video. Or maybe it hasn't been released yet. I don't know. Either way. Spoiler alert, maybe. It was between Tage Thompson and Seabrook. Seabrook's card is a better version of a coin. So if you are someone who doesn't have team builders and things like that, Seabrook is a great option. I really don't see an option unless you have Bonk and Drew Doughty, who's now 96 overall. Or a coin in Team of the Year McCarr, for example. He's one of the best cards in the game right now for right-handed defensemen. So definitely worth making, I think. The one issue is that it does cost an awful lot. Off the top of my head, I think it was like 21 collectibles. Which is a lot. Like, that is a significant amount. Now, because everyone finished all of their objectives from, like, Nations of Hockey and all of that, and used all the power-up collectibles to either upgrade X Factors or whatever for Team of the Year, not a lot of people have a lot. So we got to wait for the next event. Hopefully we get a lot of objectives that give us power-up collectibles, and then you can go from there. But, yeah, he is definitely an option. I chose Tage over Seabrook because, damn it, Tage Thompson's one of my favorite players in the entire league. I love watching him play. I got to meet him at the media tour this summer. Great guy, and plays for the Buffalo Sabres team that I enjoy. I want to see them do well. So I went with Tage over Seabrook, but I could totally make the case over Seabrook. I also hate the Blackhawks, so. Amen. Now that you confirmed that Hut vs. Ovi's 1T ability is useless, I feel that kills his effectiveness / the reason I built him over other options. Would it be a waste to break him down for the Hut champ Seabrook, or Seabrook that good that it'll be worth in your opinion? Okay, so what he's alluding to is I think I need to make a full video on this. It's come to my attention in the Game Changer chat. I'm not Game Changer chat. Design Council. We're not called Game Changers anymore. That one of the developers had mentioned about abilities not stacking, and if we even knew about it. And I didn't really think about it at all. But what he's alluding to here is that Thunderclap and Gold 1T, they don't stack. And there's some other ones that don't stack as well. Any shooting stack and close quarters, for example, so Make It Snappy, Schneip, all of those, they don't activate with close quarters. And now that I'm thinking about it, Schneip is literally close quarters, but like activated from anywhere. If you think about it. Something to think about there. That being said, Ovi's card is so good. Like, here's the thing, guys. We all have these banger. If you're watching these videos, more than likely you play the game daily or weekly and you have a very good team. We're at this stage where we only have 65 ability points that we can allot, and a lot of the best cards that we've spent millions of coins investing in, all of the Team of the Years, for example, have great abilities. And the issue is that you have to be diligent and kind of careful about where you put your attribute or your ability points. And the thing is if a card is only good with ability point or with abilities activated on it, then it loses a little bit of its value simply because that's a cost to you, and that means you're taking away from somewhere else. Ovi's card is great without any abilities because he's massive, big hitting stats, all of that. So something to keep in mind, having a card where his abilities aren't needed for it to be good is important. So Seabrook is definitely better than Ovi, but I don't think I would break him down for that. I think that would be a waste. Just dropping in to say, hey. Oh, love that, bro. Excuse me. Love that, bro. I'm just trying to watch Hut content, and he brings up the most overrated shortstop of all time. Also, we need a Hut versus Bernie Jeffrey on this guy, dude. So, man, the guys that remembered Bernie Jeffrey on the back end, I absolutely love. That is one of my OG things before when I had like 3,000 subs on YouTube. For anyone that remembers that or my Hut streams, I famously, like one of my first things in the community when I was doing like Hut advice was in NHL 19, I think it was 19. It might have even been 18. I think it might have been 19. You could put defenseman on forward and forward on defenseman. And I talked about this in the last episode that no one put defensemen on the back end because they had brutal shooting stats and DDD one-timers went in all the time. So you put forwards on the back end. And Bernie Jeffreyon's icon card was like 5'7" and whatever, terrible defensively. But at the time, this is like early on in the game, he had 99 slap shot power and accuracy. And again, remember, DDD one-timers went in. What an error that was. And he was just stupid fun to use. So shout out to this guy for bringing up the Hut versus Bernie Jeffreyon because that means you're a true GOAT. Love that. Love that. I'm just trying to... Oh, okay. I read that again. Do you think we will ever get a second release of X Factors? I'm a Pens fan, would love a Geno X Factor. Thanks for the content all year. Also, MLB question. I did not like Instant 99s last year. Do you think they will do that again this year? So, first question, no. Think about it like this, guys. At launch, they have like the first probably 4 events and the launch are all done. So the great thing about, or the good thing about cards in NHL is that the MSPs and all of that, great card art. I think it's a gentleman by the name of Micah. I got to meet him in Vancouver. Mike, if you're watching, keep up the great work. The graphic designer does most of the MSP art. It's unbelievable. I love the card art. But that's a lot of work for a graphic designer to do. If you think about it, that's 30 more MSPs or X Factors that you would have to do on top of what they already do. So to expect a second release, no, I would never see. I could never see that being the case. I think that they are going to keep the 1 per team. I think that was the right play this year. Obviously, not having Draisaitl get one and Matthews not get one is kind of stupid in the sense, but I think as a Sharks fan, I would never have seen one. I would never get a Hurdle one. Then they kind of killed that by giving Hurdle the fantasy card. But hey, you get what I'm saying here, right? Like next year, Bedard's an X Factor so that Blackhawks fans can use Bedard, for example, right? So I think that's necessary. The only thing I ask for, and I've been asking for this since X Factors came into Hockey Ultimate Team, is that please let us customize abilities. We can do it with synergies. If a new Tomash Hurdle comes out and he's got gold big rig on his X Factor, which crushes his usefulness and really the card, and he comes out with a new 90 overall and it has gold 1T, let's say, allow the X Factor to choose either big rig, which he already has, or gold 1T. Let us customize it. Let's have some fun with these. If they had a card come out where you gave them that ability, let us do it with the X Factor. I think that would really help their value. And help out with the cards that you wouldn't see normally. Like, so just something I was thinking about. MLB question. I did not like the Instant 99. So what he's talking about is MLB last year. I'm going to give San Diego Studios credit because the one thing that they do is they swing for the... Oh, what a terrible analogy. They swing for the fence. They do not sit on their hands if there is something the community doesn't like for a long period of time. So 22 was, in my opinion, an awful game because 21 had this drastic change to it. They introduced the parallel system, and for anyone that doesn't know what that is, essentially the parallel system was if you use a specific card, you can level it up to +5 overall in all attributes. So imagine you had a card you love, but progression kills it in a month, and you no longer feel like you can use it online, imagine you level it up by scoring goals, getting hits, unlocking things. That's how it works in MLB with any card. You can have a bronze card that you like and get them up to like in the mid 70s or whatever if you wanted, right? Now, what MLB 22, they really didn't do anything different. 23, they're like, let's change the face of Ultimate Team modes as we see it. And they released 99s immediately. And I think this is the future of Ultimate Teams. It did not go well because, again, I'm going to give you a realistic standpoint. This is something I like to do with you guys. I'm with you. I'm a player, but it's also my job. And I get to see things in the background where I understand from a business standpoint of why things aren't going to happen. Do I agree with them? No, I'm a player. Give me the stuff I want. But I understand why companies do and don't do things. The problem with releasing 99s in MLB is that the reason you would spend money in MLB at the launch of the game is to finish the collection. So in MLB, you collect every base card. They're called live series cards. And you get a sick card every time you collect a team, and then you collect all of those sick cards for every team. You get a division card that's in the high 80s or 90s at launch of the game. You collect every card in the game. At launch, like day one, you get these 399s that are incredible. Absolutely incredible. And it costs about $2,000 at launch of the game. And there is an exponential amount of people that do that. And the crazy thing about MLB is that you can have a full 99 squad, and if you can't hit the high heat on Legend or Hall of Fame, and you can't lay off a changeup in the dirt, it doesn't matter if you have a 200 overall player, which is another thing I love about MLB, because releasing 99s doesn't kill the game in that sense. However, what they ran into from, again, I don't know the ins and outs of their business, but I can just tell, when you release 99, so the first event was World Baseball Classic. So imagine the World Championships is in September for hockey, and they release a 99 event for the World Championships immediately. It makes sense. It's exciting. It's still going on. It's the launch of the game. Awesome. They did that for the World Baseball Classic, and it was a great event. The cards were awesome. They included non-MLB players even, and it was just really, really good. The problem is that you had 99s, and the incentive to go out and spend the $2,000 to finish the live series collection is now significantly diminished because you could just play the game, get 99s, and some of them were better than the 99 for completing the live series, right? So the game offers more ways to play for free than any other sports game out there, and I think what they ran into was, okay, we have to make money. They got a board, they got investors, like, you know what I mean? Like they are used to X amount of dollars. They significantly changed how the economy works by releasing 99s immediately. And I think it hit them in the bottom dollar. Because then what ended up happening was about 3 weeks into the game, they started releasing, okay, we'll give you 97s for free that you could grind for, and a few 99s. But all of the good 99s that, are meta and whatever, those are going to be in packs. And you can buy them. Every card is grindable, and you can buy, and every card is tradable. But I think that's what rubbed people the wrong way. Something that I loved, theme teams in NHL, almost impossible. I talked about this the other day. If I wanted to make a Sharks theme team, it's a joke. I would get absolutely obliterated in Division 2, and it's not fun. I can't use my favorite players. In MLB, I had a full team of 99 overall Red Sox players. There was a few like 90s, but again, you can parallel them and get them up to 99. So it was fantastic. Like, I saw a couple comments in this video about it. The thing about MLB is that it makes you want to watch the real sport and not the other way around. If you are a hockey fan, you play the video game. It's not you are a fan of the video game, so you go watch hockey. It is not like that because the video game is not that great. It's not. If you play it because you're a diehard hockey fan. MLB, man, you could hate baseball and love MLB the show. And last year, it just completely reinvigorated my love for the Red Sox. I told you this in the last episode. I watched 75% of their innings last year, and they were the last place team in the division. I can't stand the goddamn Yankees. Hey, Slaves, I got a good first and second attacking line, first defensive line. I got 170K. What should I do? Guys, if you're going to ask me questions like this, give me some examples. Go into the auction house and tell me a card that's in that range. Because if I tell you a card for 170K I think is worth it, you're going to go and try and get it. And someone listening to this is going to go buy them all up and put them up for 200K. And I don't even know what you mean. You've got 170K. Do you want a forward or a defenseman? I'll answer you for sure. Come into my Twitch chat. I'll give you an answer. But give me some options, guys. Hey, Slaves, I was just wondering your opinions on auction flipping. I've been seeing some other videos which suggest it, but I've never seen you do it in your No Money Spent video. All right, let's talk about auction house flipping. Again, in MLB, it's very easy to do, very simple, and if you spend some time the simplest of player, the newest of players can make stubs, coins in it. NHL's auction house. First of all, how it works and how slow the menus are and the refreshing of it, meaning that sniping cards is extremely difficult to the point where you just have to get lucky. Not only that, if you want to make significant coins where you can buy something that matters for your team, you're spending hours. I don't care what other creator. They could be the best. Bagel Pizza Party is one of the most famous market flippers, and he is in my Discord. Shout out to my Discord. And he is an awesome part of my community. Like, he's a great member of not just my community, but the NHL community. And he's been in my Discord this year. And the talks about, like, you know, the market all day for the first few months was awesome and a great resource. But he would be lying if he didn't say that he spends hours on the market flipping stuff. And it can be automated. Like, you can be like, okay, I'm going to buy this many cards, put them up before I go to work, and then I'll do whatever. For the most part, guys, he's been doing it for a decade in Hut, right? Or however many years. For anyone who wants to get into it, you've got to spend hours to make anything substantial. And personally, I don't like doing it because I don't have the patience, and I would rather just play the video game. I don't want to sit there. There's lots of people that love doing the auction house. I just, I'd rather just spend money, which I don't do anymore, or play the game a ton and just go and get the packs and figure out a way to do it because I'm an idiot. But you know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't discredit any other creator that gives you market tips. There are great market tips that are very simple that you can do, like the 59th minute by going to the 59th minute and finding cheap buys there. But you have to know what the cheap buys are. Understanding when cards are going to be at their cheapest, because Wednesday night, everyone gets packs, floods the market. You can make your buys then. Selling on Monday morning or afternoon because there's no packs and there hasn't been packs for the most amount of days. Great option as well. But the other thing is, I used to do market videos. If you go back and look, I did Market Monday for like a year. But I also listen to my community. Like, I listen when you guys comment, whether I respond or not, guys, I see them all. I see it on Reddit. I see my Twitch streams. And I think the only way to grow as a creator is to listen to what the audience is saying. So whether you like me or not, that's fine. I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea. That's never going to be the case. There was so much noise about when I would do those Market Monday videos about what the good buys are that 10 minutes later, there'd be people that would not even like my content, but just watch those videos and then go buy all the cards up and then sell them for 20K more. And it's just not fair to the player base, because then you'd get the Georges from St. Louis that would come on after a hard day's work, and they'd watch my video. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go buy this Dylan Larkin for pretty cheap. And he's 30,000 more than what I said in the video. So that's why I don't do auction house videos. I do some basic ones and my no money spent videos on, like, again, the days that you want to flip cards, things like that, and kind of like a generalization. But to do individual stuff for flipping, it's too hard to do, and too many creators don't talk about that. You've got to spend hours on the market to make a significant amount of coins, and I'm just being real with you guys. I don't think it's worth it. Is there any point in Diamond Collectibles now? Are they going to release anything new for them like they did in the beginning? I don't think they know what they're doing with these collectibles and whatnot. I think that the Hut team at the beginning of the year, it's a new content team, they had a bunch of ideas on how to reinvent the wheel, and then they realized that the tech and architecture of the game and what they have available to them is not able to be reinvented. I think that it was a great idea to do the mode-specific sets because it allows to customize rewards a little bit, but I don't think there's very much forward thinking as the year went along on how to make them better and improve upon them. I think they're just going to be there, and that's it. And maybe every 3 months we'll get like a change to them, but no, I don't expect them to be any different. Ace Sleeves, continuing with the great captain's player idea, I think squad battles should be greatly improved by using another idea of MLB The Show. They had events where they needed to get they had events where you needed to get hits or home runs with certain types of players with 99 speed, players from certain countries, players from teams and divisions, players of certain age, etc. Say, instead of having to play 280 games, seriously, with Hut vs. players, you have to score X amount of goals with Swedes for Carlson, or you have to win games with a full team of Predators and Canadians players for Weber, etc. Or you have to dress X amount of players, 70 years or older, and beat X team. This would at least put some variety and would give you value to different cards, because right now 90% of the cards are simply fodder. You would have to chase different cards for once, and it would make pack openings more interesting than just looking for the purple or green glow. What do you think? Love the idea. And I would pray that they could do this. I'll explain why you can't. And again, I'm not trying to say that this is not how it should be. I'm just trying to give you guys behind the curtain, okay? when you guys search in Rivals, as an example, if you play regularly at the same times, you probably only match 10 or 20 of the same players. And every once in a while, you get a random new player. The player base is simply non-existent. It is a very small portion of the player base. Now, squad battles, obviously, you don't need a player base because it's whatever. The issue is, the reason why I brought that example up is, if you were to say, for Weber, to unlock him, you have to play with a full team of Predators. The first thing that happens is every Predator goes up 20,000 coins in price. And now the Steves from Kelowna want to sit down and get this Shea Weber. They've been a diehard Nashville fan their whole life, all right? And they want to go and do it. They can't because there's not enough on the market to do it. That is the issue. It is a player-based issue. To add more modes, to add more objectives, to add more requirements to get into any mode, it's why we don't have competitive seasons that have only used finished players. And it sucks. They need to figure out a way to fix this. I personally don't know, given all of the constraints that I know within the game. But yeah, 100% that should happen. You need to stick more consistent MLB content this year. It's always great at the start, but then the upload frequency falls off a cliff. Dylan, brother, I feel this in my bones. So I talked about this a little bit when someone asked me if I'd ever start a second YouTube channel. Again, this people always get mad at me because I always say this is my job, but I always have to reiterate that there's some people that are watching this video for the first time might not have ever seen me. I have a business, all right, my YouTube channel, my content, and I have to make X amount of dollars. I really don't care a lot about the money. I care about growth. I think that every YouTuber should, but there is a baseline, and the stakes are raised. I have a son now, and I can't ever stop releasing NHL content. Even in August, you'd be stunned. Releasing videos like this are still going to be important because it's part of my business. There are still people that care about NHL in the summer, much like I do too. So I have to do a baseline number of videos and content for NHL, which means I can't go 100% in MLB, which is fine. So what ends up happening is at the start when MLB launches, I 50-50 it, really. I do. I usually, if you go back and look, three of my top 7 videos last year, MLB videos, including my number one video last year that had, I think, 170,000 views, was a tip video for MLB. And I loved MLB last year, and I gave a really good tip video, I think, and I was proud of it. But that's just to show you how well that I could do in MLB. It's definitely a thought of mine. The problem is that I am the voice of the Gaming World Championship, okay? And with that, the event was so spread out that I would have to travel to multiple events during the summer, including the finals, which is in the end of June at the awards and the draft the last 2 years. And when I go away for those, I still have to make my NHL content because there's a baseline I have to hit, right? The first thing that goes is my secondary stuff, which is MLB. And then it snowballs because then it's like I'm so far behind. I don't want to catch up. People don't follow me for MLB solely. So it's like, okay, I'll give it another go. And if you go back and look at my channel, the last 3 years I've released MLB content. I get a little bit further every year. Here's the thing. Guys, I have never been more excited about a big change to my channel, potentially ever, because I am the voice of the NHL World Championships here, and the first event is in 2 weeks when I go to Toronto for the All-Star event. I'll be there the whole weekend. I hope to see some of you guys out there. Please, if anyone ever runs into me, come take a picture of me, man. Come say hi. Dude, I love meeting anyone that watches any of my content. But then 2 weeks after that, Stadium Series. 2 weeks after that, it's the European Finals, followed by the North American Finals, and the Finals for the World Championship is the very beginning of April, which means that April MLB launches, or March, April, around there, MLB launches, and then I'm done. I'm home. I can make my MLB content. I am so fired up because I would love to get to a point where I could 50-50 it, because NHL really dies off in April. It does. And I still make content for NHL. I'll never get away from that, guys. I will never get away from it. It's literally my job. I couldn't. It would be such a bad business decision. But I would love it where it becomes 75-25 from May on until October, because the cycle is Team of the Year for MLB comes out in September, October-ish. So it would be so perfect if I could fully get to that point, and this year is going to be the first time I know the things that I have to do, the format of content I've got to release. And for anyone that has never played MLB and you're just listening to my content, please give it a try this year. It's free on Xbox Game Pass every year. Like, it's just it's such a good game. It's frustrating. It's such a good game. That was a long episode, and I apologize that I didn't get to a ton of questions there. But again, if I don't get your questions, subscribe, notifications on. I'll try and get your questions down below again, and come check me out on Twitch. I'll answer anything there live for the few hours that I'm live every single day. Thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you next episode. Have a good one.